Hello, everyone. I hope that you can all hear me and see me. Welcome to our new webinar called Beyond Disjoint Text Boxes, Orchestrating Every Piece of Content and its Metadata with CKEditor AI. Give me 1 second. I'm going to add another of our guests.
Hello,
Witek.
everyone.
Hey, Witek, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you.
All right. So it's me and Witek today. We are going to have a webinar in 3 pieces. First one, Witek will basically tell you what it means and what we have been meaning by beyond disjoint text boxes, and how we are trying to solve the issue of various resources, various sources being edited at one place in one application. Once Witek is done with why, how, and what, we will move on to the second part, which will be basically my questions or my issues that I had when I was preparing the demo. Because there are some differences in between solutions that we have, and some things that you need to know to understand conceptually how to tackle this challenge. And the last part will be mine. As I said, I was preparing the demo, so I would like to show it. So I will just show you the demo, what it looks like, show you the differences, and show you the use cases from various industries. So with that, let me move to second part, which is one remark. If you have any questions, just put them into the chat. We have our Witek as the backstage MC. He is ready to answer. If he doesn't know the answer, we will get back to the questions at the end. If even we don't know the answer, you will get the wrap-up email right after it, and you will have all your questions answered. So without any further ado, let me pop up Witek slides. I will come backstage, and you can enjoy his introduction part before our interview.
Thank you, Ondřej. Yes, so let's show the deck. I will briefly try to introduce you to the topic of this multiple areas plus AI. Why are we even speaking about it? What's interesting? So basically, in content products, some content is just one field, and that is completely fine. But a lot of products need many editing areas. So a CMS, you can imagine a CMS article has a title, a meta description, and a body. A page builder has a hero, several sections, maybe some calls to actions. A CRM or a help center has structural fields all over the place. But spreading content across many areas creates a problem when you add an AI assistant, right? So we already know that, and that's why we want to talk about this today on this webinar. So you have to make all of those fields that you have in your solution and your product available to AI at once. And at the same time, you have to give AI some context. It needs to basically understand what each field is for. So in this webinar, as I said, we want to show you how AI can improve the editing experience across many fields. And I've already mentioned some examples. So just to spark your imagination, let's look at a few example products. You will probably recognize most of them. So we have, for example, a Drupal CMS where there is an article, has a title, a tag section, a description. Below this screenshot, there is a body as well. We can have solutions like Salesforce CRM, right, with a stack of structured fields, or a Zendesk guide, knowledge-based article that basically helps to create help center articles for your users. In some of them, several editing areas are kind of explicit. You can see it with your first glance, and each one has its own job. In others, many fields blend into a single editing experience. As you can imagine, all of those products, in some places, use CKEditor. That's why we are showing them. But basically, going back to the editing experience, I think all share the same idea. You are trying to build the best user experience by structuring the content into multiple sections, right? That gives you a separation of concerns. At the same time, you kind of guide your users what content you expect in certain places, explicitly structuring the content and the experience. So many products are built in this way, and you've probably seen countless examples, like with forms, multiple fields. And the question is how you can build that kind of experience with CKEditor. And we actually have two answers for you. So the first one is what we call a multi-root editor. This is a single editor that shows several editing areas all behaving like one document. And the second solution we have is multiple editors, right? So several separate editors on the same page, all wired together in one shared context. Both let the user edit many areas on one screen. There are some differences how they are connected, how those areas are connected under the hood. I think we'll draw the line later in the demo clearly, and we'll see both of them in the demo as well. So how do we make all of those editing areas talk to AI, basically? And before we go to answer of that question, I will try to also pinpoint you to what we already have in CKEditor plus AI, because that's an important starting point, especially if you haven't seen the previous webinars. So CKEditor AI is a product that we built for CKEditor rich text editor that we provide. And basically we have several solutions, all of them with kind of a bit different purpose, but all of them raise the productivity that the writers have in the rich text editing areas, right? So basically we have AI chat. This is this ChatGPT, Claude experience, but next to your document. So you can collaborate with the document you have near the chat. You can ask for changes. You can propose those changes as suggestions. You have a history of your previous chat sessions, so you can basically chat with your document. Quick actions, this is, as the name implies, basically a quick way of altering the content. You can select something, you can ask for improved writing or improved grammar, and it operates on the selection mostly. We have AI review. This is let's say a structured interface for text reviews, especially long document grammar checking. So a bit better interface than AI chat for a very thorough reviews that you want to run on the text. And we also have AI translate that allows you to translate the content from one language to another as a whole translation of a document. And you can pick whichever is worth your use case, right? Whichever bumps up the productivity of your users. You can use all four. We have companies and clients using only a part of them, which makes them more productive in their use cases. So basically, it's pick and choose. As you can imagine, as we are discussing multiple fields and editing, AI quick actions almost not impacting the multiple fields because you usually operate on the selection in the editor. We'll probably show you that. But AI chat, AI review, AI translate, those needed some kind of implementation and understanding that there may be multiple fields that they will operate in. So moving on, what I want to make sure you understand that when we add the AI to the multiple fields content products, you need to start thinking what's the user experience going to be. As we know, multiple fields are not new, the AI is. So we need to make sure that we cover all of the use cases and flows our users are doing, right? So just to take a few examples, you can say fix the title, right? Tighten the summary, rewrite the body, translate the whole thing. So those are easy things to say. Probably these are the things that are also easy for your users to type into the chat, right? There is and will be this expectation, right? The moment you spread the content across many fields, the AI has to work out which area you actually mean. And this is where it gets hard, like it's technically hard. So working across many areas stops being nice to haves for the users. It becomes kind of a baseline expectation, table stakes. And meeting this table stakes is really a real work, basically. And I want to showcase, although we'll also show that on the demo, how we approach the problem of like giving the AI the context of like multiple things. So in our case, basically, the trick is to make AI work across many areas. They look simple, technically they're hard, but this is how we do it. So every area that we have set up together with the CKEditor carries a little metadata, right? There is a title and a description of what this field stands for. The AI later reads that together with the content, right? So when you say rewrite the description or rewrite the title or tighten the title, it knows exactly which area you mean, right? It's basically interpreting the previous metadata. That way, suggestions land in the right place and do not bleed into other areas. So review and translate, those operate a bit differently. They run across all of the editing areas, but every change goes back to the area it came from. So it all works live. As you probably know, CKEditor 5 has real-time collaboration as well. So basically with several people editing at once with many areas, those areas can also appear and disappear in some use cases. So this implementation that we have currently of supporting multiple areas in rich text editing also works with real-time collaboration. And that was the real hard part that we solved. Hopefully the part that you will not be needing to be solving. And here's the little fun fact at the end. As you can imagine, if areas can come and go, there can be no areas. And this is actually how CKEditor AI is built. In a way, it doesn't need an editor, right? AI chat, you can operate it in a fashion of ChatGPT, right? Basically typing, researching maybe some topic. At the same time, the editing area can appear, and then you have this experience of collaborating on the content with the AI. So a bit more of complexity here, right? If areas can come and go, that means that there can be no areas. We can discuss it further if you are interested in more details. I think that's all from my side, this little intro. So Ondřej, you can come back and we can do a quick Q&A. I know you have some questions for me, and then we can jump to the demos.
All right. Thanks for it. So let me just set up the slides. We have now even the slide for the interview time, and I just need to adjust the branding for our layout, because I want to put the questions or the topics I find out during the implementation right on the setup. So first of all, you said a CKEditor has two different answers: multi-root and multi-instance, right? What is the easiest line, or like something to just remember, like 1-2 sentences, if you want to remember the difference itself?
Yeah, I totally understand that the difference can be a bit blurry. I would say the multi-root editor, this one sentence description is potentially you think about it as a one document, right? So multi-root is one document with multiple areas, meaning that probably semantically those sections kind of have relation to each other, or a closer relation. In a way, how I feel about multi-instance is those are actually multiple fields, multiple editor fields on one page, but this relation is much farther from each other, right? You may start to ideate as those are not the part of the same document. They create one experience, but for example, I don't know, taking other editor features into account, you, for example, only export to PDF one of them, right? And the others are just kind of metadata or other stuff that is happening in some content processes, but those parts are separate semantically, right?
Got it. So let me pop up. You will get a sneak peek of the demo that I will show in the detail in a minute. But yeah, I already asked Witek before. So I got this table that might help you to understand, technically a little bit better. So multi-root, you have one shared instance of the editor splitting the document, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have one shared toolbar, one shared stack across the sections. Editor configuration is limited because you are basing it on the same stuff. And undo and redo is in one setup. So that brings me to the first thing that I was really intrigued when I was implementing this setup. And this was, so if you have one undo, so these are the sections, these are the roots of the editor, and I will get into detail in a minute. So if I add this hello, right, and I go to the social proof and get hello again, And now if I go back with Control Z or undo toolbar button, the changes should be made, and cursor will be jumping, right? So
Yeah,
I would
exactly.
want, I
It
would
will
agree.
yeah, it will influence both. Like this is one
Mhm.
document kind of spread on the multiple editing areas. This root nomenclature, I would say it's a bit technical. So we can think basically about those as editing areas. But that's the cool stuff about CKEditor 5, which is the architecture and the engine way back, right? The CKEditor 5 is a mature advanced product way back when it was started around 10 years ago, probably the first things. The architecture predicted that there's going to be a concept of roots, and you can basically have multiple of them, multiple editing areas. That way we can implement those cool interfaces where you have this separate places, right, for
Okay, so
content.
moving on with this multi-root, if you have these subparts, what are the data? What the data look like? Because if you have just single editor, the data are usually HTML, or if you implement your own serializer, it can be JSON or whatever. But it's one basically chunk of data, right? How do you store, like, work with the data in between for the multi-root?
Yeah, that's a good question. So for those that do not know, CKEditor 5 is HTML focused when it comes to the output of the data, although we have other plugins and possibilities of writing plugins for Markdown, XML. But basically the data is get per root, right? So we have methods in the API that allow you to, okay, give me the data of this root or set the data of this root. You have the configuration here, for example, showing how to create the multi-root editor. There we provide where we want to have the editing section. We have provide the name of the roots. And in a similar way, I think you do not have it here. Maybe you set up the data loading in some other way. But basically, you can set the data per root as well, which is okay. Here's the hero, and this is the content for the hero. There are methods to get full data as well. I think there's get full data method basically on the multi-root editor, where you can just like get at once all of the content from all of the fields.
Understood. So I just find it out in the documentation. So let's do one thing. Let's add a new section. Let's call it explanation. I'll just create a new editor and I will just paste it. And this is the set data as the dictionary of the data. And if you get the data, you get basically the dictionary back. In this case, it's title and a body. Right?
Exactly. And you kind of showed another cool thing about multi-root. I think it's possible also with multiple editors, but what may not be noticed by observers is that, okay, you've created actually an additional editing area during the life of the editor. And this is cool about multi-root, which is you can attach and detach roots depending on the use case, right? Your application kind of predicted that the user may want to do that. In some other application, integrator can do that for the user in some particular use cases, right? So we also predicted that this system needs to be dynamic in a way that, okay, you may want to add and detach those roots dynamically during the life cycle of the editor, basically.
And since we are already there, I also did the editable label and the description. This is what Witek was talking about. So you can label and add a description for the AI to work with, right? So now, if I ask, save it, yeah, this is the save. And I ask AI format the explanation as text instead of bullet points. During our other talk, you can see how it will work. It will know that this is an explanation because I already had the label in place. It will analyze the data. It will return it as the text instead of the bullet points, right? So I can take a look. I will just put it as the text, and now you can see that the bullet points are done. Right, very simple ask. I could have done it manually, but just to tell you how does it work, the AI already knows where to work and how to work with that.
Yeah,
So
where to work exactly. What's probably also cool is like, okay, it's HTML aware, right? Your intent was, let's transform this content from one to another. Obviously, that's example is pretty simplistic, right? But we can imagine that some user wants to reformat some section, then describe the section, then the answer is, I don't know, returned. You can apply it to the live editors. Yeah.
mhm. All right. So I already took a peek to the next question, and let's not apply these all of these changes because I just asked extend it. So AI probably didn't know what I'm talking about and which part. But for the multi-instance, which is the second part, and you can see I have various demos we will go through at the end. So for the multi-instance, it's basically the same setup. We have the sections, they have the labels and the descriptions. Can you give the example on how the multi-instance works in practice? Like, what is the working under the hood? And again, I already asked you, so I already prepared some so that people know what we are talking about.
Yeah, of course. So basically, you've seen the instantiation creation of multi-root, right? The multi-root class is being created, and then we get the roots, right? In the multiple instances, you need to create multiple editors, as we can see here, and those editors need to share some kind of context together, right? The context is needed for multiple technical things. For example, if real-time collaboration is included, the context is needed. AI as well, right? We have our AI plugins are basically context plugins. That way we can have this experience of instances coming and going, or roots coming and going. It's kind of separate, but it knows about the editors. In such a way, you basically create multiple editors. And as we can see here, one benefit of the multiple instances is you can set separate plugins for those. So basically, the area of some area may have, I know, less plugins than the other. The toolbar configuration, as you said before, can be a bit different. Even the editor type, here you have 3 classic editors. Actually, you can have like, there's an inline editor and then the classic, and there may be some smaller balloon editor at the end. So that way you can also have this more freedom in terms of configuration of the editors.
Okay, so now let's connect it to the AI itself. If we have this multi-instance, I guess everybody now can guess the answer, but what do you set for the CKEditor AI, and how do you prevent from leaking and rewriting the different part, the different
Yeah, sure. So
content?
I think you've kind of we've seen the glimpse before, right? In this when you added the explanation of the demo, but right now we basically do it through the metadata. So as you can see here, Ondřej is zooming in. We have roots, right? This is this editing area. Each editor has one, at least one, right? And in such a way, we can basically tell AI this root is actually has this label and this description, right? So we keep the metadata pretty lean. Label is basically some kind of a title, and the description is this like additional field for more semantic meaning, right? Like just to give AI an additional boost in terms of like, okay, what this field is actually for, what it represents. Sometimes the title is just not enough. And I'm saying the title maybe here as a quick explanation. There's label. It was also used for ARIA label, the accessibility field. So in the new release that is coming out, we basically keep the label for the ARIA label, and there's going to be additional field called title for AI. So there's going to be title and description. That way you will steer the CKEditor AI chat, especially in terms of like which field is targeted, right, with the changes.
Okay, so in the future there will be label, title, and the description.
Exactly.
And the label itself will be for accessibility reasons for the WCAG. So if somebody needs to read it, let's say technically or like without visuals, and then there will be a title that will be especially for the AI to identify this section or the editor. Okay, so the same for multi multi-root and the metadata, you have the label and the descriptions, right? You just have them for every single root, not
Exactly.
for the whole editor itself, right?
Exactly. So each root has its own label and description, title and description. That way, through those, we call them under the hood root attributes. You basically add additional data to the root.
Okay. And now from the practical part, let's see, I already know how to set it up, what are the differences and stuff. Now I would like to create, I pick one of the approaches, and what happens if you give AI a good description, or maybe the other way around, what happened if you don't put a good description? Like, how much does it affects the results? Did you see any
Yes,
differences?
That's a good question. Where we were thinking about it, testing it, giving it to our customers to test, I think it came pretty clear that to write a good title and description, you actually need to have an understanding what these are for. But not only that, you kind of need to either predict, observe, or have data how real users are referencing those fields, right? Because you can call something a hero, but then it turns out that the users usually call this section with some other name, right? And
Title.
what you title, right? For example, so what you basically need to do is you need to have this understanding of how are those fields being called internally, externally by your users. And then you do a bit of it's basically a prompt engineering, right? Which is you try to create as close as possible description for AI to interpret. I think you need to probably iterate on it, right? It's not something that you'll probably will get on the first go if the system is complex. Or in some cases, you can ask your users to help you, right? Basically, and add those for you as you created your demos. But basically, it's prompt engineering in which way you want to capture this intent, or at least explain AI how certain intents should be interpreted. But description will probably be something purely visual, like left section, right? The section on the bottom right where there is a lot of content, right? Like it's too vague, too visual. AI doesn't know what left means and like what's the relation to the system. Usually it's more a better version is this like semantic meaning, like this section is for this and that, the content that we expect is this and that, and basically this is the way how it should go, I think.
Yeah, and me coming from the content management world, it's always you have the semantics of the schema of the data or the content model that you are describing with the guidelines or metadata, and then you have actual data, which while I'm looking right now for this, let's say, page builder, and this is basically a page builder. When if you take a look to the preview, it will take the section, it will split them into the parts and get the outcome. And as you can see here in the label, I'm using Y formally, which I'm basically putting the data, not the scheme, as the label, which is completely wrong. Because if I would like to create another landing page, not about this artificial company, SaaS company called formally, and I would like to, I don't know, make a landing page about the CKEditor, I would need to change the whole metadata for this section. So this section should be probably called something like why this product or specification benefits or something
exactly,
like that.
Yeah, benefits. Mm-hmm.
So these are the examples of good and bad. And I thought that I had all good. So this is something that I'll need to switch after the webinar. But now a little bit or a little step even before you are setting up the labels and descriptions. If you already see multi-root, multi-instance, is there like the mind to question checklist or like main question or main focus that you should be thinking about when you are deciding in between these two? Because they effectively can do and substitute one in each other. Because we have another capabilities with disabling the stuff with multi-root, so you can even have kind of different configuration for your roots. But what would be the like mindset or like the first question that you should do when you are deciding which approach to go to?
Yeah, I think, and I see that Witek shared this metaphor, which is if you are not sure what each stands, like which solution what stands for, it's multi-root. You can think about it as one document, let's say one book with many chapters, where each chapter
Mhm.
is one root, right? So you get this understanding of, okay, this one content is split to many sections. Whereas in multiple instances, you basically have this, okay, I have many fields. I think this fields metaphor is more
Mhm.
accurate to multiple instances. I have multiple fields. They may not be connected, but my users still work on all of them at the same time. So AI needs to be aware there is this mm, possibility, right, to talk to AI and those fields together. So those are the things I would say. And the line is blurry, as I said. Sometimes I've seen it with our customers as well. Due to some technical reason, it's even easier for them to do multiple instances, although the content looks like one document. And it's fine, right? Like, it's not a problem. It's just a question of what are the constraints of your system, which solution kind of fits more your use case or problem space and technical space. So they are maybe not interchangeable. You would need to probably
Mhm.
do migration between them, but there are two solutions to one problem, right? Of like splitting the content basically at a high level.
Okay, okay. So this is from the business point of view, and let's say at the ideation part. If you are a developer and you just get to one of these two, what are the common mistakes that you see that developers do? Or I was asking when I was setting up the demo, or like your customers when you're doing the exploratory
Mhm.
phase.
I think, and probably it comes to many rich text editor architecture problems, is n- and it's not a diss on developers in any way. Is that rich text editor is it's a very niche subject in terms of like technicality, right? You rarely create a rich text editor by yourself. You usually pick something from the market, open source editor like ours, right? Maybe your company already has CKEditor in one product, so you implement it in many. But basically, the number one issue I would point out to is you do not know your options, right? Like you basically, what I would advise developers is to like jump into the documentation. For example, our documentation has this cool AI docs agent, right? Run on our docs, and you can chat back and forth about your problems, because knowing what are the possibilities will help you guys to solve your problems, right? And for example, multi-roots as a concept is not that common even in rich text editor world, right? If you watch other open source editors on the market, they do not have this concept, right? They maybe solve this issue in some other way, but the fact that we own the engine as CKEditor, we could have baked in this cool solution for multiple areas, basically abstracting some of the structure into this multiple editable fields, right? That you can have.
Mhm.
So maybe to cut this short, basically research, right? Research with docs, with cool AI agents currently, and ask about, okay, how would you set up the CK editor with multiple fields? And they will guide you probably through the options and possibilities.
Yeah, maybe when we want for the practice, for example, this little button that makes the container bigger and smaller.
Mhm.
When I was asked to edit because Vitek was like, yeah, nobody will see what I'm writing, so I just put it this little button. It was for me the first glimpse was like, yeah, okay, so I will just implement some external button. I will implement the resizing functionality and so on and so forth. And then you ask the AI and check the documentation, and you see, okay, there is a configuration. You can just say, hey, just add the resizable button, and you set two sizes, and it works out of the box. And it even does this little, animation that I would
Yeah.
probably skip because I'm no designer. So this is very cool to ask before do something. All right, so that brings us to the last kind of question, kind of call to action. If people want to try, test it, where should they go, and what should they do?
Mhm. Yeah. So basically, what we provide as CK editor, oh, there's a slide for that actually. So you
Yes.
can try it. And the CKEditor 5 is an open source editor, but you can also set up a free trial, no credit card required. AI tokens are included if you want to test the setups with the AI as well. So this is one thing that you can do, is basically start a trial and jump easily. Read the docs for both setups, or ask our docs AI agent or your favorite AI agent how to set it up. Everything should be pretty smooth there. And obviously, if you want to talk about a bit more details, maybe some use case you would see that this could solve, but there's last 5% that you would still need from us, please talk to us. Like we love to basically develop rich text editing solutions. And reach out if you have any problems. I would love to jump on the call with you together with our cool support team that we have, and basically understand the use case better.
And with that, I think we can say what's coming, what you're planning to do, and what are the new things that you're working on with CKEditor AI or CKEditor in general.
Yeah. So basically, next week we have a new release of CKEditor 5 plus CKEditor AI. This release kind of marks the stabilization of these multiple areas and AI. Previously, we ran the open testing, basically, right? We call it experimental, which is we provide the functionality and our community and users can feedback us. And then we basically gather feedback. We'll go to the polishing stage. The multi-roots, multiple instances are stable, but as always with rich text editing, there are some areas that we want to still polish. One of them is, for example, inline root that maybe we'll show today, Ondřej, if we will have time. Mm-hmm. And more improvements are incoming. As you can imagine, although we leave the interpretation of editing to LLM, right, the model, I can imagine that the user would like to see, for example, be more empowered to choose the areas they want to edit, right? So to have some kind of visual interface for choosing the roots that you actually want to edit, because I know the title field shouldn't be touched right now. I'm just doing the review of the body. And those kind of settings are something that we have in plans to basically give the users the possibility to visually choose the places they want the edits to appear in, right?
And there is also one cool thing which guys are always doing when they are in the stabilization phase, and this is the live demo in the documentation. So then I wouldn't need to do these demos and run them, because I just go to the documentation. I don't need to register nothing. I can just show.
Oh yes, definitely. And Witek posted the link to demos on the pages. Feel free to check them out. The multi-root demo, I think, is right now in the docs, but we'll add both types to the website as well, following our stabilization. So soon we'll have more visuals and more interactive examples as well.
Yeah, and that brings us to the last part, which is my demo walkthrough. So thanks, Witek, for sharing the information, for preparing the intro. It was a lot of time saved for me, and it was a lot of experience for you that you could have shared. And I wouldn't probably be able to do that because, it's fairly fresh. We are going to have a nice release in a week. So, it's a lot of information to digest. So thanks for that.
Thank you.
With that, I will pop you backstage. Again, if you have any questions, just pop them into the chat. Witek is still there. Just ask him whatever you want. If he doesn't know the answer, we will get back to it. I probably won't know the answer either if he doesn't know, but we will get to all of the questions in the follow-up email.
Exactly.
Thank
you very much, Ondřej.
See you in a sec. All right, so let me pop down the slides. And I will keep showing you the demo. So this is the demo that I built together with our documentation AI. So we just went through the stuff. And I was aiming to showcase you the actual industry demos that you can think of. The first for the multi-root and multi-instance is Page Builder. So again, you have this multi-root with the sections. There is hero, social proof, and the features. I have various scenarios. It doesn't really need to be this. structure, it can be e-commerce product with a hero specification and the benefits, or it can be a knowledge base article, right? So it can be title, main content. So if you're out from headless content management systems or the content management systems like Drupal, this is where you are building the web pages or the sites. So you have your content model and you are filling it with your information. Let me switch back to the SaaS because I like it. I like this part of the industry. And the multi-root itself, I already showed you the undo stack. So the thing that I want to show you, and I will be showing throughout the demos, is not how you are editing in between the sections or adding the sections, but I will be using AI. I will be using these shortcuts. These are customly defined. So if you want to, you can have as much as you can, and you define them yourself. I just use them because then I don't need to write the whole prompt myself. And you don't need to wait once I'm finished. So if I pick this one, it would basically just do the predefined prompt and put it into this text box like that. And the prompt itself is punch up the headline of the hero section. You can see this section is called hero. So it knows which part I would like to set up and cut out all the jargon and put it time press to the product manager so that we have more conversion and so on and so forth. So if you are up from marketing, you probably know what you're talking about, what I'm talking about. So I can just apply it. You can see it's already there. I can check the preview, see whether it makes sense or not. I can adjust it, and I have it ready. It knows what part, AI knows what part of the document I would like to adjust. The second thing I would like to show you in this multi-root is if I click tighten the whole page, it just say go through every section of the document and made this basically the same thing that I did just for one. So AI now goes once more to the first section, second and third, go through the content and try to make it a little bit more punchy, right? And you can go, you can check the changes, you can apply it, and you can suggest them. I don't want to really go to the features of the CKEditor AI itself. This is more of a demo, how you can do, how you can apply the AI suggestions or AI edits into the whole setup. So you can see I already applied everything. Now I can take a look what it looked like. Let's say I'm fine with that. The only thing that is currently limiting is you can see that all of these sections, even though if I create one, are having the same configuration. So I can do bold, italics, underline, bullet list, and so on and so forth. But if I want to use a different configuration, I would probably use multi-instance in this case. So you can see that I have these sections. The first one is called hero that allows me only headline and subheadline styles, only bold and italics, and nothing else. No bullet points, no underline, no nothing. But these benefits of the product has much more variety of the configuration. And the last showcase is basically you can have much more configuration, not just the CKEditor configuration one, but you can, for example, change the background of this CTA, and you can still have the editor in place. So now if I open it up, you can see it's red, and I have all of the content with proper styling in place. So for this one, I will just punch up the whole page, right? And you will see that it will go through every single editor. It will know its configuration. So even though I can do tables and lists there, I'm not able to do any normal text in this hero section. And CKEditor knows that. So once he's going through all of the stuff, and if I apply everything at once, so that we don't really need to go one by one, excuse me. You will see that it won't ruin the output. It won't ruin the HTML. So these are two examples on this simplest use case with the page builder for the multi-root and multi-instance. And now you can see it still holds the structure. It still holds everything that was defined by the definition of every single section. Now let's move on to the legal contract. This is a little bit more out of my topic of experience, but I tried. So for this, I have, let's say, the document, which is called Master Service Agreement. I already have some predefined content. And I have some clause library that I can put into the document. So let's say this is some kind of legal builder that you are building, or if you are in the part of the legal section of your company, you are probably working with something similar. If I would like to preview, I can take a look and see the revision history. So you can see it's very short document so far. There is not even any of the versions. But now let's build up together the master services by themselves. So for this blue one, core clauses, let's say I would like to add a fees and a payment section, the termination. For risk and legal, I would like to cover the intellectual property, data protection. This is the big topic right now. And for the notices, let's just add these two. So I will add notices and assignments. So I just kind of semi-built or like mocked the building of the whole agreement. I made the changes. In this case, I'm already predefined as, I think, Anna. So if I take a look to the revision history, you can see that there was the initial version, which was fairly small. I have all of the revision history in place done by Anna, who is me right now. And I can use all of the features that we have in the CKEditor. So commenting, views, I don't know, I can the comment for, let's say, this thing, and I would like to use, no, this is the correct symbol, right? So I can use everything that I need to. And now we already have the scope of services. And now I would like to draft the scope of services by some new aggregation of some context, of some setup. So this is basically similar. Doesn't really matter what the prompt is about. This is what the topic expert or the legal attorney would do. But now I ask it to rewrite it somehow. It knows that the scope of services by its label, because this root is named scope, is being adjusted, and it put it in there. So if I now take a look to the revision history, you can see the scope of services is being added by Anna. And yeah, lately there's going to be a new feature that will basically label and opt in for, let's say, the root of the changes. But this is the topic for the other time. So now let's say I have everything in one document. I can use even the tracking changes, right? I can have everything in one place. But if I take a look to the revision or the preview, it's still one document. But let's say I would like to adjust this clause library's content. So, for example, I don't want services and access rights to be written this way. But now let's think about the scenario that you have another team of the legal practitioners that are working on these, let's say, templates or the predefined components or content pieces. So, and they need to have some versioning in place. So this is just the mock demo. There is nothing stored, but yeah, if you already have some system that you just need an editing platform, this is what you can do. So I just checked out the version of this service rights, right? And I can audit this clause for clarity. Now it knows that what version I have checked out. I have it as the review. I accepted it. This is the different UI for multiple changes. I don't have that much of a content there, so it's just one change for the clarity. If I finish the review, I have everything in place. Let's say I would like to change also the fees and payments, and I will just add, I don't know, let's just modernize this clause, right? This one will just pop the prompt to reflect 2026 industry in the standards. Which clause I would like to update? I will say fees and payments, right? Yeah. I didn't make a typo. Okay. I was expecting that I did one because I'm very good at these. But if I just adjust it or identify which one, I will get the changes. I have the changes applied. The important thing here is, since we are using multi-instance, if I open up the history, this is just the history of one clause. This is history of the second clause. So these are different. So this is how you can think of the use case when you need to decide whether you want to go multi-root and multi-instance. The answer is not always clear. It's like always in the software, it depends. But just to give you a little bit of a mental model, what are the differences and what you can expect from these two types of approaches. And now let me wrap it up with two short demos. Let me just check if we have any pinned messages. We're not. So I can go even to this bonus demos because we still have 5 minutes. If you have questions, just pop it in the chat, and I can cut the demo shorter, and I can give you the recording later on YouTube or somewhere. But if we don't have any, which we still don't, I will show you these two things that will just bring another aspects of what you need to think about. This one is e-commerce sources, right? So let's say you have this e-commerce system that is putting or getting the data from various places, from CRM, standalone, CMS, PIM, DAM. And out of this information, in this case, it's some lenses for the photo, it will build up, let's say, this product detail. So everything, like the definition of the scheme in these two places, is coming from CMS. So the CMS is saying like the title has to be maximum 200 characters long. The short description is 600 characters long. The meta description and meta title is standalone storage, so it doesn't have any configuration, and the specification for PIM has very, let's say, rich setup. Now, if I want to work with the AI, it's very easy. But what I wanted to show in this case is you can even control the AI out of it. So I implemented this one simple button. It will just take a look and run the prompt for me. So it will just say, hey, access a SEO expert, build a SEO title and SEO description, use the information in current context. It already knows the information from everything because this is all CKEditor. And if I apply it, you have them in place. There are no lists, no bullet points, no nothing. And you can even see it respects the length, right? And I can't really go and make it, for example, bold, right? Nothing works. So now I have it filled, and in our product details, this is basically some preview. You can even see the SEO preview, what it would look like. And this is almost it. We have 2 minutes, so I will be very short with this last one because it shows even different industry. It's finance, and the standard is called iXBRL, which is basically a standard how you can share the information in the structural way for your business reports. The important thing that I would like to show you here is a combination of the types. So I have one context, and in the context, I'm adding one classic editor and a bunch of inline editors. So if I take a look back to what it looked like, this is the very big, let's say, management and discussion analysis. And here, these yellow thingies that I made a little bit more visible are small CK editors that allows only to change the numbers. So if I, for example, change this number of the total revenues, it can adjust me the things. I can do the undo and redo, right? You can have much more configuration in there. But the showcase that I wanted to end up with, if I check for numeric consistency, I have this very huge prompt, which basically says like, hey, this is what these things are about. Every single of these has the label based on this structural definition of iXBRL setup. It will go through the check, and it will tell me, like before, it was approximately 475 million. So it understands the whole text, the unstructured one, and then it checks this annual report and tell me like, hey, now it's 582 million.3. It's probably not the thing that you should be doing. Just fix it. And in this case, in this prompt, I just wanted to have it summarized. But of course, you can fix the management discussion analysis, MD and A. And now you can see the typos all over the place. In this case, there are a lot of typos, so it might not identify it for the first time, but here you can see it identified a place. It found the source of the information, because in this case, I set the prompt the way that this is the source of information. It will change the discussion and analysis with the proper numbers. So now you can see the numbers are in place, and this preview that I vibe coded as well are also. All right, we are slowly getting to the end. We have 5 minutes to go, so we have been very good on time. Do you have any other questions that you would like to go through? Maybe I will put Witek on the spot. Hey Witek, do we have any questions that I missed in the chat? And you are muted.
Yes, thank you. I don't think there are any questions, but looking at the demos, one thing that I love about rich text editors is that there are so many use cases that you cannot probably imagine, and you've created a bunch of very cool demos. For me, it's very inspiring also to see your implementations. So thank you for that.
Good to hear that. Thanks as well. And yeah, I promised you that I will show at least one content review. So let's go to the e-commerce sources and let's wrap it up with this. Thank you, everybody, for your attention. You will get a follow-up email with all of the information, all of the links. So don't need to copy and paste the chat. We will send it your way right after that. And with that, let's just improve the clarity of this e-commerce product and see what it comes out. And once we're done, I will slowly put the outro in the place. So we have the review. Let's say I'm fine with that. It did the changes. Now everything is read-only because this is the default configuration of the review. But if I finish it, I have all of the changes in place. And now I am running the outro.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.